Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to our lovely discussion video about, some stuff that happened. But before we get into anything, hi, Ellie, how are you?
I think I need to address the elephant in the room.
I'm not about to tell you that I know the release dates.
You couldn't write it, could you? You literally couldn't write it. If we don't laugh at the irony, we'll just curl up in a ball and cry about it, won't we?
Oh, my heart broke for you.
If you could have heard the phone call between myself and Danny last night, like I said, laughing at the irony, but also crying inside, because we'd spent all day making yesterday's video. I mean, as I'm sure many people understand, these videos aren't live. Obviously, we do not know the future. So when we were recording it, we did not know that the dates were going to be announced. But also, it was still a pretty quick turnaround because we recorded it yesterday, it went up yesterday. We did jinx ourselves slightly because we did say, now watch them announce the release dates.
I think you deserve to be the one who gets to announce these. Ellie, what are the release dates?
Okay, so Star Beast, 25th of November. Wild Blue Yonder, the 2nd of December. And The Giggle on the 9th of December.
Jumping straight in, so they're all coming out after the 23rd.
Yes, which I have seen quite a few people going, eh? I kind of agree. I mean, I don't think it's been a secret. We may have spoken about this already. We had kind of set our sights on it being the 11th, and then the 18th, and then the 25th. I think that if I can do maths right, that is the dates that we thought.
Yeah.
And to us, that made more sense that you would kind of do it slightly beforehand, but then end really close to the 60th anniversary and kind of have a build up, as opposed to going after the 60th anniversary and then into December. Having said that, we do know that there's a Christmas special, and there's only 2 weeks between the third special and then the Christmas special, which then maybe suggests that they are more connected and linked than we initially thought, which is good.
That big time. I know as well. I mean, the dates on this are, I suppose, less important for Danny's continued mental health, as it is that at least it's 3 different Saturdays, as opposed to like 3 nights in a row. I know that's been, and I've been completely on that team as well, not just for the selfish reason of I'd like to sleep, but no, it gives us a little bit of what we loved about Doctor Who, which is the waiting. You know, we'll get, presumably there will be cliffhanger endings to each episode. And I mean, that is brilliant. It gives us a bit of digestion time as well. I think it's, I don't think this is much of an announcement, the fact that there will be ups and downs for these episodes and we will be discussing them. I'm pretty sure that's out there in the ether at this point.
I think we wouldn't be doing a very good job of our jobs if we didn't do that.
Yeah, a little bit. Kind of, hey guys, where's the ups and downs? Oh God, I forgot to do that. About the, so we know from announcements from Russell T that something will be happening on the 23rd. All we know for certain now is that it's not one of these specials. Mm-hmm. Now, that doesn't mean that there's, 10 other secret episodes coming, but what I think is that there's going to be, when I say a special, I mean something more like a retrospective, or maybe things online. If you think back to the 50th, we had the Night of the Doctor, we had the Last Day. They both released ahead of time. If we're not going to get a new episode on the anniversary, then what I would love is a celebration of Who on the anniversary. Frankly, I am ravenous. I will take any content at any point. It's fine. Gimme. So because the 23rd obviously is a Thursday. I mean, what happens on Thursdays? But with that taking place on that day, so we get episodes back on Saturdays again, which, I mean, I think within seconds last night, I saw someone sharing that screenshot. I think it's from the Stolen Earth, where the Doctor is going, I always land on Saturdays. Sundays are boring.
So the last time we had a Saturday episode was Eve of the Daleks, which was the 1st of January 2022. And then before that, it was back in 2017, the series 10.
That does not feel like that long ago.
Nope.
Yeah. I remember watching that live, of course, and it was just like, I remember where I was. So, I mean, because of where I was living, it immediately dates it. But I was like, that does not feel like 6 years ago.
It's very strange as well. I mean, having grown up on modern Who, it's always been on a Saturday night. I mean, when they changed it to Sundays, it felt weird. I didn't like it.
It did feel strange. I have to say, I'm delighted to have it back on a Saturday. You mentioned as well, of course, with the third special dropping on the 9th of December. Sure, that's barely any time then between that and the Christmas special, as you said. I think, you know the way the Doctor Who team, they'd be quite clever in how they phrase things, and they've said that Ncuti will be making his debut over the Christmas period, and we all know that because of commercialism, Christmas begins in August each year. So I think this speaks to what you were saying as well. I think Ncuti's going to have a bigger part in these, or
at least in the third one.
Sure, yeah.
Perhaps. Yeah. Which does lead us quite nicely, actually, onto the posters. So I'm going to jump to the third poster and then go back to the first two, just because this has made a good point. That out of those 3 posters that got released yesterday, along with the release dates, Neil Patrick Harris is only on the third one for the giggle. And now there's a lot of questions as to whether he is actually in all 3 specials or if he's only in that final one. And if we're suggesting that he is responsible for David Tennant emerging as the Doctor, then it would make sense that that third episode is where we will then have Ncuti Gatwa coming forward. Obviously, he'll come forward at some point because you assume that he'll regenerate at the end of that episode, but it maybe suggests that Ncuti Gatwa will be more vital to that episode if that's the only one that Neil Patrick Harris is in.
My wild theory is that, a bit like we always get the new Doctor in like the last few seconds of a regeneration episode, I think we'll get Neil Patrick Harris the last few seconds of the Star Beast.
Yeah, maybe he'll be like a little bit of a, maybe just sounds like giggling sounds, and his laugh, you can hear it in the distance. When the Master was coming back and you could just hear him laughing, but you couldn't see him, and it was kind of like, oh, something's coming.
But to agree with you, yeah, I don't think he's going to be as big a part of, say, like, kind of skipping back to the first poster, which is very much Beep the Meep. We've got Donna, we've got Rose, we've got the Rarth.
Haven't done that in a while.
I know, right? I missed that. So, like, I think that will be our big setup episode, and our big, our David Tennant going, why did I choose these teeth? Why am I back? What's this about? That'll be that one, our kind of our mystery box being established in this one.
I will say, obviously, we've seen more and more images of Beep the Meep. I'm still undecided as to whether Beep the Meep is really cute or really creepy, and I'm verging more on creepy.
Based on what we know of the character, I would lean closer to creepy than I would toward cute.
But it's not even necessarily about the characterization, it's just the look. Part of me is like, is that supposed to be cute? But then there was a picture released the other day that was much closer, and the fingers were really... I didn't like the fingers.
Yeah, I know what you mean, actually.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll see.
They seem a little too good for throttling.
It's like salad fingers. Do you remember salad fingers?
I do remember salad fingers, yes. I was actually having a talk with someone yesterday about the early days of YouTube and how it was very experimental. Yeah, okay, but just two sides of the same coin there, yeah? Speaking of Beep's slender fingers, the Rarth have surprisingly slender arms. Now, we are not gym shaming, but I think it looks like there is quite a lot of armor on these soldiers, as opposed to, like, I don't know if this is like an exoskeleton or if this is, just their uniform.
I feel like they look more scary in the actual footage that we've seen from the episode. In the poster, they kind of make me think of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I mean, I will always be happy to think of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, don't get me wrong.
I see the colours are much brighter in the poster, maybe.
The middle one, the Wild Blue Yonder. So I think this is going to be I'm trying to think of a better way of phrasing it, but what in the absolute? Because I think this is going to be the one that just turns everything on its head. Because we know nothing about the Wild Blue Yonder. Some of the footage we've seen, the ones we've discussed before, where it looks like the Doctor has to make a choice. Why does it have to be this? That looks like, based on this poster, that's all coming from the Wild Blue Yonder.
Yeah, I would say so. Looking at it, it looks very mechanical. I'm looking in the background of it. And we've obviously got this new robot-looking dude in the background.
Danny was quick to say that it reminds him of Marvin the robot from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I am so on board with that.
obviously the emoji bots is something that people have gone what's sad as well. But do you know what it made me think of? And it maybe just goes to show what's been on my mind this week. Humpty Dumpty.
I saw the most. This is so not related to anything, but I saw the most wholesome meme recently, and it's obviously done by an American because it says Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, and it's just Humpty Dumpty in 4 different panels, just having a great time, picking up leaves that are gone red, and just collecting conquers, and just having a wonderful time. And it's like, oh, that's really nice.
That's a better spin on the story, isn't it?
I really like that. Sorry, I just wanted to share that wholesome moment. So we know nothing about the Wild Blue Yonder. I think it's going to be a game changer, because this is going to be one of the ones where, do you remember when we used to know nothing about the Wild Blue Yonder, and then?
Do you know what's making me feel a little bit sad about Wild Blue Yonder? Is, as I mentioned in yesterday's unfortunately timed video, I've kept every Saturday in November free, because we didn't know when the release dates were, and we kind of assumed they would all be in November. I didn't think to keep every Saturday in December free, so guess who is not going to be able to watch Wild Blue Yonder until the next day?
Don't worry, everyone.
Avoid social media like the plague.
I've got your back. I've got your back. I will make sure that I am there. Which actually, funnily enough, when it was November, I was going to be the one that was going to be difficult, because where in the world is Sean this week? I would have been in America for most of November, which, as it stands, I probably would have made it easier for me to watch the episodes. As of the release of it, anyone's been following my socials, there is, depending on what way you want to look at it, we have the official release yesterday says BBC iPlayer in the UK, Disney Plus in the rest of the world. Now, if we were to take that as gospel, that means great, I'm going to get it on Disney Plus here in Ireland. And Republic of Ireland, as opposed to Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is, of course, part of the UK, therefore they have access to iPlayer, whereas we don't. And if I was just word for word, then that's exactly what that means. However, we are still, as of recording of this, we're just waiting on replies from the press office just to confirm.
Speaking of Disney Plus, we will move on to some Disney Plus stuff in a sec, but let's just quickly go back to the third poster for the giggle. Obviously, as I mentioned, Neil Patrick Harris is on that poster. He's looking rather menacing.
Demented would be the word I'm looking for there.
Demented.
Yeah. As we saw in the trailer and on this poster, a lot of rose petals.
I mean, if you want to look at, there's lots of cards. I'm sure there's a meaning to like what cards we can see, but I don't know enough about playing cards to be able to tell you anything like that.
I also just think, is it the various doctors? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. So
I like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then obviously we all know that Disney Plus will be the home of more Who from now on. Outside of the UK, and they released a little promo trailer yesterday as the dates were announced. How strange is it to think that Disney are promoting Doctor Who?
It's it's weird, nice weird, of course, but to see the TARDIS flying by the Disney logo, I
loved it.
I think it's so cool. I do maintain that, give it enough time, we will all be owned by Disney, and I don't mean WhoCulture. I mean you and I. We will be property of Disney, but I think it's very, very cute. And also, the point, I'm jumping down slightly a little bit here, but the point is, think of the audience that this opens Doctor Who up to. Danny has included here for us this thought of, Disney's Twitter account has something like 10 million followers,
and they've shared that promo.
Like, that's, it's just this idea of bringing such a huge new potential audience to the franchise, which hopefully can be only good news for its longevity.
So in this promo as well, we were treated for a few new shots. I mean, nothing major, really, but a few new shots. So we had a couple of different angles of the Wrath ship crashing over London, a good shot of Camden Bridge. So we already knew that they'd shot it in Camden, but it just clarifies that they weren't just using it as a location that could be anywhere. It is Camden where they are. So we have a couple more shots of that. And obviously, as we just mentioned, we have the Disney Plus ident. I love it. I think it looks amazing.
There's an additional shot of soldiers jumping out of vans, which probably unit, because they seem to be at least humanoid. But I guess one of the big reveals, and it comes from a frame-by-frame screenshot, is that there's a scene of the toy maker surrounded once again with rose petals, running through what is presumably unit base, and in the background is Mel Bush.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, we last saw her at the end of The Power of the Doctor. She's in that companion support group, and we know, of course, that Mel will be in season 14. So here is also a surprise early turn up. And it just kind of goes, I haven't a clue what's coming in these episodes.
No, and also that shot of the toy maker in unit, obviously Mel being there that's amazing. Although she's kind of in the background, I wonder if they kind of didn't realise and they've just accidentally revealed that, because she's not exactly at the forefront. It's very easy to miss her. She's quite blurry, but eagle-eyed fans will have spotted her very easily. But also that shot in itself just looks very musically. It very much seems like that is going to be some sort of musical number. Now, I'm not saying that these episodes are going to be like a full-on musical like the Star Trek episode that we had for Strange New Worlds, but I feel like just the character of the toy maker, as I said, is a showman. And so I think this is going to play into his, he's got this big ego, and I just feel like that's going to happen in quite a lot of the episodes.
Because as we can see, like, the toy maker is so animated and everyone else just standing around. It's like the Strictly trailer where you had Kate and Donna are just stood there at the top of Unit Tower, which definitely isn't based on Avengers Tower. But I think it's more of this. So presumably it's either at least a follow-on or companion scene to that scene as well. Companion, nice.
Yeah, it seems a little bit like he's kind of got this ability to almost freeze time, or I guess freeze time or freeze people at least. And we have seen that kind of in Doctor Who before, this kind of mind control or making them do whatever you want them to do. So I mean, that's not a new thing necessarily, but I definitely think it's all to kind of put the Doctor on edge and assert his power over the Doctor in these situations.
I think so. I mean, I can imagine it's something like a giant chess game, and he's using everyone else as the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But and then the last we get, Disney Plus is the home of new Doctor Who, streaming from November 25th. Oh, how I hope you're telling the truth, Disney Plus. Uncertainty about ROI aside, of course, quite a selfish reason, I'm delighted, absolutely delighted, that Who is going to be available on Disney Plus, because I think as it stands, Disney Plus seems to be the streaming service that's getting the least criticism at the moment. So that's positive. And yeah, as I've already made the point of just the fact that it's now available to so many more people, I think is only a positive. So, I mean, like, kind of, what's your overall feeling of, we're right now, it's the end of October. So, what are you feeling right now about what's coming up?
A lot of excitement. I mean, I said yesterday that this kind of lack of dates, ironically, was making me feel really uneasy. And, selfishly, we did comment on the fact that for us, whose job it literally is to kind of build up that excitement and review things and to kind of plan content when you don't know when the end game is, it's really difficult. Because we don't know when we need to have these things all scheduled for. So there is some relief. Also, just the excitement that we finally know. We know what we're building towards, which is very exciting. I think I'll get over the fact that I was a little bit... initially, I was like, oh, they're not all in November? Why are they so far away? But I think I'll get over that. That's, at least we have dates. And I'm sure they have a reason for it. And... this is so yesterday is when they announced it, literally 1 month away from when that first episode airs. So we are less than a month away from the first episode of the 60th anniversary.
Yeah, I'm ready for them to air now, and so that we can spend, go through frame and frame and frame and frame and oh yeah.
We are not gonna sleep.
Sleep is for the weak.
I would suggest, despite the fact that the first kind of couple of minutes is me talking total rubbish at this point, that you do check out the video that we posted last night, because despite the little misstep in terms of release dates, there was some interesting stuff other than that I spoke about as well. So make sure you go and check that out as well.
Well, thanks very much, everyone. Keep things wibbly wobbly, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye-bye!
Bye.